What's up? Wow. So, yeah, this is my hair for today. As you can see, I am butterflied all up with my trans shoelaces in my hair. I don't know if you can really see that they're trans colors. Let's see. Get away from the light. Get away from the light. There, you can kind of see the trans colors right there. I don't know. Um, all I know is we just got back from Smyrna Pride, which is in a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It looks like my titties are falling out, but they really aren't. I promise. It was a lot of fun. It was hot. I'm not gonna lie. We got there at about 11:15, and at about 11:30, I was like, my makeup was running all over me to the point where Egg was like, you look like a freak. And, I don't want to look like a freak at Pride. So, of course, nobody had any paper towels, and I didn't want to wipe it on my dress. So, I was like, you know what? I've got brown skin. Let me just wipe it on other parts of my brown skin. We ended up getting a paper towel, but, uh, you know, that's, uh, that's how that went. Now, I won things on my very first spin at my very first booth at this Smyrna Pride 2026. I won a teddy bear. Yay! And I won this teddy bear from what does it say? Unity North ATL. Love is love. Unity North ATL. So Unity North ATL is probably a church, or something that has to do with the church. Because it's I when I was spinning the wheel, I noticed it was for an inclusive church system, and that's fine with me. I have no problems. I'm actually, I find myself being more and more okay with certain Christian things. Certain. No, we're not go all out, so let's not do that. But yeah, so this is my bear. I have to find a name for him. So if anybody can think of a name for my bear that I won at Pride, please give me one. Yay! Um, let us see what else we got from Pride. I'm telling y'all, it was hot. Oh, naloxone. I am now prepared, as you all should be, to, in case of an emergency, an overdose, anything like that. I am prepared to take emergency steps to bring this person back to breathing state. Also in here is what is naloxone. So yeah, and what else did I get in here? Oh yes, I got a non-binary flag. Of course I did. Me and my homies repping the non-binary flag. Awesome. So we'll put that there, like with the rest of the flags. And then of course I had to pop the fan. Trans pride bitches, what's up? Okay. Trying to interview, do anything without using my tripod. Um, it was just honestly a pain in the ass, and I had my tripod with me, but I didn't feel like going up. And this is what like I'm gonna have to do if I want to film people, is I'm actually gonna have to go up to people and be like, "Hey, do you want to talk on camera for a minute?" And I don't like doing stuff like that. Um, if somebody were to ask me to do something like that, I wouldn't say no, but I mean, at least I don't think I'd say no. I shouldn't say I wouldn't say no. Um, This is also something that I got. I am not sure what this is at all. It came with the naloxone. Um, I'm not sure what it is. It's in a zipped bag. I'm going to leave it in a zipped bag. Let's see. It says Cobb and Douglas Public Health. That's all it says. So we're just going to leave that alone. Um, so some stuff, and so Smyrna Pride last year, and we talked to the guy who was putting it on last year, and he said last year he said this. He said last year that that this last year would have been the smallest. It's going to just keep on getting bigger and bigger, and he is not lying. Like today, it was huge. Like we got there at the beginning, and there were thousands of people. You know, so it's only going to get bigger because Smyrna is an up and coming town. Like they're doing this whole gentrification and revitalization thing, and that I think is a great place. It would be great if Egg and I, if we didn't have the amount of debt we had, honestly, if we could find a nice little place in Smyrna, because within I don't know, within 5 years, Smyrna's going to be, all the property in Smyrna is going to be super expensive. And right now, it's not super expensive, but it's going. So anyway, here's a trans heart. It's this lamp that's bothering me, so we're going to do that. And yep, trans heart sticker. Uh, let's see what else I got. Oh yeah, we stopped by the P Flag tent. We support P Flag. We do give them money. I got to replace my P Flag pins. This one, God damn it. This one says she, her, and of course, this one says they, them. I use both of those pronouns. Um, because, and honestly, when I think about non-binary, the more I think about it is that non-binary is just the category for all of the rest of the genders, that aren't cis or binary trans. So, my gender is somewhere floating around in there. As a matter of fact, this lady today said I need to ask you some questions. Um, you know, because of the Narcan that I was getting. She said, "What's your race?" And I said, "Human." And she said, "What's your age?" And I gave her my age. I'm 52. I'm like, "Okay, so I'm 52." And then she said something else. And then, um, oh, she said, "What's your gender?" And I said, "Undescribable." And I probably should have said indescribable, but undescribable. Here's the non-binary flag, and that's good. But honestly, my gender can be close to a binary trans woman one day, but never fully. Maybe sometimes for like a brief second or two, and then I pop back into a more femme thought and way of belief and way of practice. Now, my voice does not, come out femme. I wish I could make my voice a little bit better and be femme, be a little bit higher, but I don't want to struggle like this. And I don't want to have to talk like this all the time. It's not good for me. It's not good for my throat. I guess if I trained, it would be good. But this is Minnie Mouse, and I am not Minnie Mouse. I am Frog. Okay, so I also got whoopsie daisy. I also got this sticker, which is an Ace Pride women loving women sticker. These are the Venus, I guess Venus signs. So women's signs. Yep. What else did I get? Let's see. Oh, I got this little sticker right here that says joy is resistance, community is strength. Strength, 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 or strength. And that we understand 100%, joy is resistance, community is strength. We need to stick together, especially now, given the fact that Trump has labeled all of us trans people as, targets. It's time for cis people to stand up, and be the shields The ones that get hit with the bricks, metaphorically and physically speaking. Um, you know, help us out. Ah, that was some delicious water right there. Um, I don't, I think that may actually be all that I got. They didn't really give out a lot of. I mean, there was a lot of free stuff. I could have gotten more flags and stuff like that, but I didn't need any more flags. I have 5 of these flags right now, and I don't have that many friends. So like all the people who've come out to me, I've given flags. There is one more person who I need to get a flag for, um, and it's beautiful because it's happening as we speak. It's in motion as we speak, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy that when people come out, when people finally understand, when that egg finally cracks, and people are like, when people finally understand the truth in themselves and in their being, it's a beautiful thing, you know, and makes me smile, makes me happy. Uh, so, hurrah for this person, hurrah! Um, so yeah, Pride, Smyrna done and dusted. Now comes the easy part for me, and that's the sitting and watching World Cup. I am number one. See, number one. Um, I would also uh, I may go. Well, no, I'm not going to. I was going to say I may go over to Besties tonight, but I'm not going to. Egg is going to go over to Besties tonight, um, and chill for a little bit, and then I'm going to stay here and watch some of the World Cup. And you know, then yeah, that's how that's going to work. We are just doing it up. I think we are going to try and do something from Southern Fried Queer Pride, which is coming up the weekend of the 22nd through the 28th. Hey, Niall, thanks for popping in. You're the only one here. I've just been talking. It's been like 12 minutes, and I've just been talking away. And that's fine. I just wanted to come on and say some things about Pride today, because I had Pride in Smyrna, Georgia, which is near Atlanta. The big thing about Smyrna, of course, is that what's her name? Julia, Julia Lewis? No, Julia, I can't remember her name. Julia, whatever. From Julia Roberts from Pretty Lady, and other stuff. She was born there. But Smyrna's this up and coming little town, little city, right next to Marietta, which is right next to Atlanta and Sandy Springs. It's all in this little cluster. Anyway, Smyrna puts on, hey Marnie, Smyrna puts on a very good Pride. It's a little bit more low key. Well, not gonna lie, it's a lot more low key than, let's say, Atlanta Pride, or even Athens Pride, which we did last week. Athens Pride was off the hook, yo. It was like crazy, crazy, like more so than we had thought. So I was not prepared for Athens Pride. I was more prepared for Smyrna Pride, this Pride today, and we parked at one place and walked for a good bit. So I got some steps in, and there were a lot more people there this year than last year, and we went in the beginning. So if you can imagine, now it's almost 4 o'clock. Pride ends at 6 o'clock tonight in Smyrna. So between now and 6, it's going to be pretty packed, and it's going to be very hot, and everything is going to be going on, and that's pretty cool. But we were there long enough. We saw everything that we wanted to see. We stopped. We got drinks. I got a massage for free, I might add. It was actually amazing. I I've had massages. Egg has given me a massage, but this was someone who knows how to like get into the little muscle parts, and actually Egg knows how to do that too. But this was the first time I had a massage from somebody who is a massage therapist type person. Yeah. So um, we did all the things. We took pictures with all the flags, and like the one protester that was there. I took a picture with him um, protesting, you know, and I'm in what I'm wearing now, which is a dress. Um, uh, well, you can see I've got shorts on, so um, yeah. But I was wearing my dress, and I've got like sparkle all over me. Although the sparkle, well, I can still see the sparkle. I've got sparkle all over me, and butterflies in my hair, and trans shoestrings. And the guy was just looking at me like I was an abomination. And I was like, well, your son lives in Decatur. Oh, cool. Yeah, I love Decatur. My sis lives in Decatur, actually. Yeah, she lives in Grant Park area. I love Decatur. We've been multiple times. I've got a friend who may have just moved from Decatur. Let me just put it to you like that. Um, but yeah, Decatur's fine. Decatur's a clip from where we live, though. So, Decatur is definitely fun and would be a great place for us to live if we could afford it. I just don't know that we can afford it. Um, but yeah, so Pride was done and dusted. The next one is going to be, it's called Southern Fried Queer Pride, and it's week long festivities in Atlanta, Little Five Points area. Um, excuse me. So there will of course be like a dance. Um, there will be like a trans something. There's a drag something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it's going to be, but I know there's a trans night or a trans show that I want to go to, and so that's the one that we're going to go to. Oh no! What did I just do? Hold on. Let me slide this over here. Okay, there. Um, let's see. What's it called? Southern Fried. Southern Fried Queer Pride. Oh, 26, 2026. So while that's opening up, there we go. Find events. Let's see. Overview. Southern Fried Queer Pride. Peach Pit Pageant. Queer Film Night. Let's see what the events are going to be. And the reason, what the fuck is this? This is not what I'm looking for at all. Why Eventbrite? Eventbrite just be popping up. Like I click the first thing that pops up on Google, but Eventbrite is always a pain in my ass. Here it is, right here. So all events and programming. So Seeds of Resistance is Monday the 22nd. It's an opening gallery show. And this actually sounds good because this is the Roots of Liberation All Starts Somewhere. You're invited to the opening gallery show on Euclid. It will focus on the South's history of resistance and change, featuring artists from across the South. Now, that is one that's fun, but what I want to see is Transistence, a trans cabaret and open mic. Now, that sounds fun. It is resistance and performance go hand in hand. Make your way out to Transistence, a trans cabaret and open mic happening Tuesday, June 23rd at 7 Stages in Atlanta, Georgia, as part of the Southern Fried Queer Pride 2026 Festival. It sounds interesting. Masks are required, which is interesting. Um, Tickets are sold on a sliding scale, so they don't, trans people are poor. So like if you can pay $20, that's great. If you can't, if you can pay five, that's fine. They'll take it. But the point is to, of course, pay something. And so that part that sounds fun. Transdistics. I would definitely like to do that. Oh, where is my mice? My mice, my mice. There it is. Okay, it's coming over here now. And then the spaghetti dinner and bingo, which I think Egg would like a lot. Big booty bash. Now that is what I'd like to do. Big booty bash. It does sound fun. Yeah, it's the Big Booty Bash is the time to shake it, break it, and bounce it all over to the Big Booty Bash happening Wednesday, June 24th at Aisle 5 as part of Southern Fried Queer Pride. Get ready to dance, sweat, and bounce the night away at a function centering women and femmes to the front. So that sounds good. Hosted by Mantra. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All these sound good. Um, and then, of course, Thursday is the Peach Pit Pageant, which is a drag competition, which sounds a lot of fun. Um, and then hot sauce, baby, hot sauce. I can't say it like that because I ain't got that twang. Let me see if I can get that twang. Hot sauce, hot sauce, hot sauce. I can't do it, y'all. I'm sorry. I say y'all, but I can't. Hot sauce. I can't do it. It's HAWT, hot sauce. Hot sauce, the iconic queer dance party is back. Heat up the dance floor. Make your way to Hot Sauce Queer Dance Party happening Friday, June 26th at aisle 25. I'm sorry, aisle 5. I don't know why I keep on saying aisle 5, 25. But yeah, Mr. Bitch, DJ Juicy, and, Wonder Girl. This is gonna, yeah, it's gonna be nice. Now, of course, the thing about that is, I say these are gonna be nice, like all these dance parties. But honestly, like when it comes 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we are not leaving this house. So if the dance party is at like doors open at 10 and it's free to get in before 11, we are not going. We like I've done like I clubbed my ass off. I was in the rave scene in the 80s. I was in the rave scene in the 90s. I in the rave scene in the 2000s. I've done all of that. The only thing that that's not saying I don't want to see a show. I want to see a show, but that puts me directly in the line of drugs, and I know I can get them. I'm I'm a master manipulator when it comes to things like that. So I keep myself away from those type of things, and shows like that would definitely put me in a position to want to get something. So I don't. Um, I've been clean since 2012, and I'm gonna stay clean. So I don't put myself in those kind of positions. Yeah, um, and yeah, um, which sucks because then we can't go out and dance. And I understand that people can go out and dance and have a good time and not do drugs. I have a feeling I can do that. I just haven't done that in a long time. Um, I I have I'm high energy, so but I need to my high energy runs low really quickly, and then I have to recharge somewhere. So I can be out bouncing around for a couple of hours, but I'll need to come back to my abode and just recharge like I'm doing right now. It was like hot as hell, heat index high. I'm still hot, trying to um, breathe. Um, but I want to say another thing is that pride is great. Yeah, pride is great because every pride, someone an egg cracks, and someone uses pride as, and I'm not going to say an excuse. That's not the right way to say it. Um, Yes. So Charleston, that's kind of funny, Marty. I actually went to school in Charleston, College of Charleston, and it was hot as fuck. Always hot as fuck, but I always like stayed off, you know, off the pier down there by Market Street, Marketplace, wherever it's called. Um, yeah, but I went to school at College of Charleston. Um, but one of the cool things about Pride is that it allows people, to their egg to crack, or for them to say, to come out. And there's several days, like National Coming Out Day is a big one where people will, wait and use that as an excuse to coming out. Halloween, where people can dress up the way they uh, want people to see them dressed without arousing suspicion almost. And then something like Pride, where people come out, where people are like, you know what, this is the best time. And interesting. Um, so that so basically what I'm trying to say is someone came out today, and it's a sight to behold, and it's beautiful, and it makes my heart warm and gushy, because they're young, and young people when they come out, they may have it rough, because of their youthful age, but they're going to have hopefully a lifetime of satisfaction and not having to worry about y- y- you know um, living a lie. So kudos to my friend who came out. Uh, yes, Marty. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know College of Charleston. I am intimately familiar. I did not graduate. I went 3 years, um, but did not get my degree, ultimately because my brain, it will not allow me to function like that. I think now, if especially if I had accommodations, I could probably do better at a school where, so I have friends, and even my ex therapist went to a school where grades weren't, not that grades didn't mean anything, but tests were open note, open book, and if you explained to your professor that you understood the knowledge, then or the what the test was about, then that was a pass fail, or a passing grade. So, it got rid of all of this bullshit memorization, and numbers. Okay, let me try and memorize the numbers. I may be able to, I may not, but I can tell you what it means. I can tell you exactly why this happened and when it happened. And for me, that's the kind of support I need. I don't need, like, okay, you know, read this chapter and answer these questions. I need something a little bit more rounded. Something I can read these chapters, yes, and I can answer the questions, but give me some reason why you want me to answer the questions and which way do you want me to answer the question. I need, I don't know. So College of Charleston was fun, and I had a great time, and I made great memories. But I also had horrible experiences there. I was a blackout drunk when I was there, and I I have stories that people have told me that I don't even remember, of trying to fight like an entire bar of Kappa Alphas. And if you know anything about KAs, Kappa Alphas in Charleston, you know that that probably wasn't the best move. Kappa Alphas, are pieces of shit anyway. Sorry for anybody who's in that fraternity, or any fraternity, fuck them, and sororities, fuck them. But and me saying that my dad is in a fraternity, my sisters are in sororities. Um, you know, I am not in a fraternity. I am not in a sorority. Um, it just was not my path. Um, so, hey, Neuro D, what's up? Let's see. Yes, Marnie, thank you. I will tell them. Uh, Let's see. I think so. I think so many more people would do better at school and would understand, as opposed to just memorizing. Memorizing is one thing. People can memorize information. I am not great at memorizing stuff, but if I see it and I can relate back to it, that draws the pathway in my brain, so that way I can access it again. Um, it's a connection, um, as opposed to reading Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 14 fucking 32, which is no 1492. I don't know. That's bullshit anyway. So, graduate program emphasized synthesize. Yes, yes, Neuro D. That would be so much better. So much better. Um, let's see. Yeah, Charleston was a mixed bag. I had a great time in Charleston. I met a lot of great people. People that I don't keep in touch with. I don't keep in touch with anybody from College of Charleston anymore. But while I was there and throughout those years, I met a lot of great people. I met a lot of awful people too. A lot of straight racist fucks. Um, as a matter of fact, I was my first room mates and suite mates in College of Charleston were so racist and rednecky. I was moved out of that room in 2 days. 2 days. They were like, "All right, we're pulling your ass out," and it probably was not probably it's for the best. But like, I didn't do well at Charleston because I was partying a lot and I just couldn't get my mind. At that time I wasn't taking medication for my ADHD. So I was just like spiraling out of control and I was having manic episodes and depressive episodes, and like mixed episodes. And I was having gender issues and all of it was just going crazy. So I did well in some classes. Basically, what I would do is I wouldn't go to the classes, but I would show up to the test. I would like do well on the test, but my teachers would say, "Well, we can't really pass you because you didn't show up to any of the classes." And my idea is like, well, if I can come to your class and pass your test and not show up to your class for the rest of it, then that's on you. I obviously know the information anyway. Aside from that, the point is, like back then, it's not just me who did that. Like all of us did this. We would wait the night before, and then we would go up to the computer lab on the sixth floor and bang out a 10, 15 page paper, in like 8 hours, and I'd get an A on it. And this is how I did my work. I still don't have a way of studying. I was never a good studier. I just bullshot my way through it, and that's probably why I didn't do so good too. I went to another school called West Georgia College, um, and this is in Carrollton County, Georgia, which is right next to Alabama, close to Alabama. Carrollton County, Carrollton. Well, it's not close to Alabama. It's near Alabama. It's where Douglasville is and all this stuff. The reason why I'm telling you this stuff is because I went to this school only for a quarter, and it was the most at that quarter that I went there. Uh, Sassy magazine was still around, and Sassy magazine had rated it the number one most teen pregnancy uh, events in the United States, and that's not anything to be proud of. But that's what Carrollton was known for at that time, and its racism. So there were a lot of black people. There were a lot of white people, but there were no black people who hung out with white people, and there were no white people who hung out with black people. And so I'm sitting here by myself in my room and just hearing gunshots go off all the time, and it was um, that was pretty doomed from the get go too. So same thing happened. I didn't go to any of my classes. I had a radio show. I had two radio shows. One that I played like regular music, meaning not when I say regular music, I don't mean top 40 music. I mean I got to play what I wanted. I just couldn't play deep cuts. It had to be like if I was going to play Morrissey or if I was going to play the Smiths, it had to be How Soon Is Now. Or it couldn't be any kind of deep cut. Um, so um, but later on in the evening, my overnight shift, I did have where I could play deep cuts, and it was a popular show, and I liked it. I probably should have stayed. Um, I probably should have stayed in doing something in the radio. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Robes, I'm neglecting everybody. I'm sorry. Let me go back and read. I'm sure that kind of. Hey. Oh, you went to ECU. Okay, yeah. I know ECU. Sorority is not your cup of tea either. Stayed far from. Yes. Okay. Hey, Robes. Hey, Marnie. Hey, Robes. Where was that? Oh, so West Georgia College, if that's what you're talking about, Marnie. West Georgia College is in Carrollton County, Georgia, um, or Carroll County, I think is what it is. Carroll County, Carrollton, and the city is Carrollton. But the reason why I was telling you that is because of Southern schools, and so I've lived in the South most of my life. I am Southern, but I am not Southern. You know, I'm Southern, but I'm not Southern. And That's the problem is I'm not Southern. So that my type of Southern and the South type of Southern do not mix. So there was this one point, and it happens in most black. I was a man socially at that point. Well, not really socially, just on the outside. I was a man. So of course I was driving this MGB, and if you know what MGB is, it's this cute little British race. And it was British Racing Green that we painted it. It's a British car, little two door, two seats. Old style hood where you had to get out of the car, pull it down and tuck it under and then snap it down. And then right before it rained, you had to get out and pull it back over. And it had like the vinyl window covers, the vinyl for windows. The engine was actually in the back seat that you sat on. It's an interesting car. My dad still has it. But he let me use it for a while. Like I can't even fit in that bitch anymore. But when I was using it, when I drove to the college, not to College of Charleston, to West Georgia, I was driving back from my parents' house, who lived in the area, and so I was driving back, got into Carrollton County, and by the time I got into Carrollton County, I had six cops pull me over. Six cops, six police cars surround me. Lights going off, sirens going off. Um, you know why? I had a tail light out. Yeah, I had a tail light out. Six cops decided to uh, take time out of their lovely day to harass me. Uh, um, every black man, boy, and probably woman has had this conversation where their parents tell you if something like this happens, what you do. I was fucking scared shitless. I thought I was going to be dead that day. No, I'm not going to lie. I thought I was dead that day. So, it's amazing how police can instill fear into people, because honestly, they don't, they're not, the police do not protect us. They're not, it, let me just look this up really quickly. Ugh. Ugh, 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 ugh. Let me try and spell. Okay, now I'm going to read this, and this is why I wanted to pull this up. So legally speaking, police in the United States do not have a constitutional duty, do not have a constitutional duty to protect individual citizens. So, that's why I thought I was dead that day, because they don't have to protect me. That is not their job description. Their job description is to protect property, corporations, things like that. So while their general mission is to keep the peace, multiple Supreme Court rulings have established that their role is to protect the public at large by enforcing laws rather than guaranteeing the safety of specific individuals. So, when you find out that the police don't really have to protect you, and then that's not their job, it kind of makes you a little nervous every single time you come up against the police. And now let me lead into that with another thing. There were fucking police at Pride today, and okay, unfortunately, we're at this place where police are going to be at Pride. Um, I wish they didn't have to be in their suits and all their shit, but they are, guns ablazing. And then on top of that, there was an ICE agent there. And I don't. All I could do was look at him, and I gave him the stank eye, and I gave him the eat shit look, but I can't say anything because I can't have them take me while I'm at Pride, But fuck ICE and fuck the police, why, you know. And if you're queer and an officer, take off your fucking uniform before you come to Pride. You know, I'm sorry. Uh, Historically, police officers have not been kind to queer people, um, and it continues till this day. So, yeah, fuck. Well, okay, I'll get off of that rant. Um, let's see. Okay, Neuro D. Yeah, it's definitely hot outside. Yeah, it's hot, 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 like super hot. We're in the 90s now. Uh, I know, Neuro D. That's so right. Like we have a pug, so we'll pick him up and take him to the grass and let him like roam around in the grass, and then pick him up and take him back inside. Because we don't want his little puppy paws to burn. Yeah. Um, Yes, ice was there. That I just it was just such a sickening, sinking feeling, and at the, there's a, the feeling is like it makes you sick, but it's also like there's nothing you can do about it. What can you do about it? Um, luckily I didn't see them looking like they were looking to take anybody. Um, but I did keep my eye on them for a while because just because that's how I'm conditioned. That's the black existence in nature, is we are conditioned to watch out for cops. Because you know, well, we all know. So, um, but so I don't know. World Cup is coming up. World Cup first. I'll hop on something else. World Cup. I'm a football fanatic, not hand egg. Will never be a hand egg fanatic. I've been to one hand egg game. We left within the first quarter. We'll never ever go back and see a hand egg game. But football, the beautiful game, Jogo Bonito. I will go and see. Well, no, I won't go to the game either because I have a problem with large crowds. But I will watch it on TV. And right now, I think I don't know who's playing. Qatar, Qatar, Qatar is playing somebody. Switzerland, I think. And then there's two more games tonight. If y'all didn't know and didn't watch the games last night, um, United States won their opener 4-1, the most goals they've scored in like since 1930 in an opener in a game. Yeah, way to go USA. And this is so funny, but I am not a USA type of person. I don't go Army, hoorah. I don't do any of that shit. I disagree with it on a personal level. I know other people don't. It's just me. But I do go hoorah for the United States when it comes to football. I am a diehard Sam's Army type of person. Um, yeah, I cheer for the United States when it comes to world football, and especially the women. Don't get it twisted. Like the men, okay, fine, whatever. But the women, I expect to put on a great show and to dominate each time, and or at least to have a good games because the women's teams are now uh, becoming pretty good outside of the United States. And the United States is now having to face some competition. The older stars from the United States have retired, and we're bringing in new players. I believe Kristen Press retired. I think who's the last one that's going to need to retire? Rose Lavelle maybe is the last old guard person who's going to retire. I shouldn't say needs to because that's not true, but Rose. Well, I just said her last name. But Kristen Press just retired from football, and I love Kristen Press. I could not tell. I've had a crush on Kristen Press for years, for years. That bitch has been married for years. Nobody knew, except for probably their friends. But she's been married to Tobin Heath. And if you know anything about women's football, Tobin Heath is amazing. Played for Arsenal, played for a lot of different teams. Also played on the women's national team for years. Was a big part of the women's national team. Kristen Press, a big part of the women's national team. They've been married for 8 years now, probably 9, 10, something like that. It, whew, I've had the biggest crush on Kristen Press, and since she has stopped playing football, they have focused on their podcast and their clothing line. And whoo, when I tell you she's like just so, I'm getting like mask vibes from Tobin from what's her name, and getting femme vibes from Kristen Press. And I got to tell you, Kristen's a hottie. I love me a femme type gal, or a femme type person. You know, any type of any type of femininity. Yeah. It is so, at Pride today, of course, there was the requisite drag show. The Atlanta Freedom Bands played. There was an interesting country, all inclusive country line dance type of thing, which I found interesting, you know. Um, I got a massage for free. That was my first massage, and like after like 10 minutes, I was like, "Yeah, well, you got to stop, or else I'm just gonna fall asleep right here." And so I had to get up. It felt great though. Um, on my very first, we walked into Pride, and if you've ever been to Pride, then you know that they have those little wheels that have like little slots, and they have like little writings on the slots. You get to spin the wheel, and wherever the wheel wins, you land on wherever it lands, you win on things. I won this bear. It was the only bear there, the only bear, and I won it. And it was from an inclusive church. So I was like, that's really nice. I've been struggling with my spirituality recently. So to see this from a church, it was really nice. And it says, "Love is love," and "Unity, North Atlanta." It's really just a little raggedy animated bear, but since I won it, I'm going to keep it. I love it. Yeah. And then, like I said earlier, I have a box of naloxone. This is, I mean, I wouldn't take the whole box. I mean, I would just take. I guess I take them with me. Original prescription strength, easy to use, two single dose sprays. So what I've been told is the way that this works is, y- you know, emergency practices so far. They're not breathing, lay them down, hit them with a dose of naloxone, wait 3 minutes. If they're still unresponsive, hit them with another dose of naloxone in the other nostril. And then, continue. You should have called 911 at the beginning and all this other stuff. But it's good. They were also talking about getting HIV testing, which if y'all don't, y'all should, regardless of your sexual partners, your sexual proclivities, and whether you have sex or not. If you don't have sex ever, then you may not need to get one, but you never know. Because if you've had a blood transfusion or anything like that, you could have gotten, you could have gotten it. So, I I did not. I waited a long time before I got my first HIV test. And honestly, the stuff I did like back in the back in the day, I probably should have tested earlier. Um, but I didn't. Um, and luckily, my tests have been clean. So, um, you know, uh, but everybody should get an HIV testing and STD, STI testing. At least every 3 to 6 months is what I say. Yay! Now I know that sounds good. It can be expensive, but there are clinics that will do it for minimal charge, and it's good to ensure your safety and others' safeties if you are engaging in any kind of sexual activity. Um, yes, yeah. So Atlanta's getting ready to pop off. The World Cup has not hit Atlanta yet. I am not sure when the first date is. Let's see. Let me just look it up real quick since I do that. First World Cup date in A Town, bitch. A Town down. June 15th. So June 15th, today's the 13th. June 15th, Spain. OMG. It is going to be off the hook. Spain and Cabo Verde. Um, yeah, it's going to be at Atlanta Stadium. And it's going to be pretty crazy. Spain has some great fans. Cabo Verde is their first time in the World Cup. So, you know, I think it's their first time in the World Cup, or maybe they changed their name and it's their first time under this name in the World Cup. Either way, it promises to be a pretty good game. Um, you know, there will be all sorts of craziness flowing through the A that day. Don't expect to go anywhere in Atlanta. it is going to be clogged up like a motherfucker. Um, and that means all the side roads are going to be clogged up. There'll be watch parties all over the place. So, yeah. Tonight, like we live down from the Braves stadium, Atlanta Braves. Um, and tonight we thought we were like, why the fuck are there so many people? Like, because we were trying to get home from Smyrna Pride, which passes the Brave Stadium for us to get home. And we were trying to figure out why there were so many people. There were a lot of cops, and there were people walking, and then we were noticing there were a lot of cowboy boots, and so some cowboy shit tonight, like a cowboy show. Like I I looked it up and I forgot it that quickly because when it says cowboy, I'm like, okay, fine. Um, Now let me jump on to another thing. Now this is how my mind works. So you see, I jump and jump and jump. But the cowboy thing, um, when people think of cowboys, people think of rugged white men, you know, on the range, whipping up, like riding the bulls for 8 seconds, shit like that. No, that's not how it actually started. Cowboy is a term for black slaves or black people who tended the cattle, and they were called literally cowboys. So the image that you see on TV of John Wayne being the cowboy, that's what they want to feed you, of course, you know, and people licked it up and ate it with a fork and a knife, you know. But okay, I think I've rambled on enough. My bro is home. My brother-in-law is home, so I want to say hi to him and say bye to Egg before she has to take off for the evening. So thank y'all for coming on tonight. Today, this was my second pride, and second of the three prides that we're going to take part in this pride season until the fall. This last pin right here is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention pin, which of course survivors so have to wear that and rep that. You know, yeah. So let's end this. No trash, no transphobia, no racism, no homophobia. Let's see. Trash. No. No transphobia, no racism, no ableism. Okay. No sexism, no homophobia, no xenophobia, no Islamophobia. Land back, no borders, reparations. Have I got everything? I think I have. Fuck Trump. Fuck guys. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Marnie. Thank you, Neuro D. Thank you. Who else has been in here? Thank you. Oh, I see Ginger. Hey, Ginger. Thanks, Robes. Let's see who else was in here. I think I got everybody. Thank y'all. Everybody have a great night. I'm gonna go watch some World Cup right now. Okay, bye bye.